Hey everyone, Ken here with Ken's Creations and Product Reviews. Well, we've had our Cricut Joy now for just a little over a month, and I'm ready to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Actually, there really is no ugly. This is a cute little machine. Turn your inspiration board intentions into actual actions with little help from your DIY best friend, the Cricut Joy. This machine is ridiculously easy to set up and use. You're gonna be able to cut vinyl decals for custom water bottles or wall decor. Quickly make kitchen or office labels. Bust out a birthday banner or maybe a birthday card. It also works with Cricut Smart Materials. With a plethora of projects that just take 15 minutes, the Cricut Joy comes in the box with, of course, the Cricut Joy cutting machine, premium fine point blade and housing, fine point pen, standard grip mat, welcome card, power adapter, and a free trial to the Cricut Access membership. This cute little baby Joy is just 8 inches by 5 inches by 4 inches and weighs just 3 pounds and 13 ounces, making it the lightest machine I have ever reviewed. Cricut Joy can cut and write custom labels with Cricut Smart Vinyl and Cricut pens. Cricut Joy can make continuous cuts up to 4 feet and repeated cuts up to 20 feet using Cricut Smart Materials. What is Smart Materials? Well, they are so smart they don't need a cutting mat. That's correct, just load and go. Smart Materials will be clearly marked. This is not just a cute little machine, it is also pretty simple to use. Literally just connect the power cord, head to cricut.com/setup, and within minutes you'll be creating. You can design on your computer, a tablet, mobile devices, using iOS or Android apps. So what are our thoughts on this little machine? Time to get that Joy out of the box and start testing what this cute but powerful machine can do. First up is the insert cards. This is what drew me to the Cricut Joy in the first place. Now, these insert cards give the user the ability to make cards in seconds. The insert cards come with the envelope, the cards, the insert card part. They're awesome. Just pick your design and go. Once you have your design chosen, we're gonna hit go. Choose insert cards because it's a preset material, and that's where the card mat comes out. Now, the card mat is ingenious. It works specifically with the Joy, and to see the card mat in action, check the link down below. We have a video for you. We're gonna start using the silver metallic pen. We're gonna place that into our Cricut Joy, and you'll note that we were able to put the blade and housing on the upper left-hand corner. You can also do it on the upper right-hand corner. It will hold that housing for you. Once the Cricut Joy is done drawing, it's going to alert us to change to our blade. So we're gonna swap out the pen for the blade. And this is what I love. It is actually cutting your card, and you'll be able to lift it up and leave all the negative pieces behind. This is where the brand new Cricut Joy tool set comes in handy. The card mat can be a little sticky at first and you don't want to ruin your card, so grab that tool set and it will allow you to lift it up and you'll see all those negative pieces. Just get rid of those and we're ready to turn our attention to the inside of the card. Pick any design, choose the card mat, and on the preview screen you can center it so that way it's in the middle of the inside of the card. We'll choose insert cards, and this time we'll use the metallic pen again to draw this. Now we're going to fold our insert card in on itself and then put the actual front of the card on the non-sticky part of the mat and the inside of the card stuck onto that card mat. Choose the metallic pen and it's going to draw our design on the inside of the card. Now, the insert cards are probably one of my favorite features of the Cricut Joy machine because I love making cards and you can make these in seconds. When it's all finished, all you have to do is fold it back, grab the insert card portion, and voila, look at that, a beautiful card every time. All you have to do is sign and deliver. Moving on to our next project, we're gonna be actually using the Cricut adhesive backed cardstock, and it's exactly what it says. It is really good cardstock with a really nice adhesive tack to it. They almost remind me of infusible ink sheets. Now, these are not a smart material, so we are going to have to use them on a regular mat. So once you have your design, choose the mat, and please note there are 2 different sizes of mat, so make sure you're on the right size. Now, adhesive cardstock is an option now in Cricut Design Space, so just select that and follow your on-screen prompts. Now, I am choosing to do this project on a really cute house. So it says Home Sweet Home. The first part was all of the lettering. The second part is a heart. Now, what I love about adhesive cardstock is you just weed it and it has a strong enough tack to go on cork boards, anything. Little tip, if you have a problem getting that to come off of the backing, roll the backing away from you and it will easily come off because this is cardstock. But look at that. So many projects come to mind. Hello, card makers. This is designed for you. Earlier, I spoke of Cricut Smart Materials. So what is Smart Material? Well, let's take a look at Smart Vinyl. Anytime you see the word Smart, that means it does not need a mat to cut. I'm going to use this permanent vinyl. It's actually a sampler pack, and I'm going to grab the gunmetal out of there. Now, this is 18 inches long, and here's my first tip. Just because it's 18 inches long does not mean your design can be 18 inches. In fact, I had to go all the way down to 16.25 to get this to fit on my project. Once it works and fits on your project, you will be alerted by Cricut Joy that says, yay, this works. We're going to use the Smart Vinyl setting. And what I love about the Cricut Joy is it actually checks to make sure you have enough material for your project, so you're not wasting material. Just hit go and the Cricut Joy does the rest without a mat. This truly does give the user the ability to cut up to 20 feet designs. Unload your Cricut Smart Vinyl when it's done cutting and grab that Cricut Joy tool set. We're gonna start weeding this bad boy, or girl, I guess, and look at how beautifully this weeds. Oh my gosh, that's like butter. I love the satisfaction of a nice weed. We're gonna get all those little tiny parts out, and now we are able to transfer this. To transfer this design, I'm gonna grab the brand new Cricut Joy transfer tape. This comes in all variety of lengths. This is just the 48 inch, the 4 foot, but they do have a 20-foot roll. I'm going to place that on my design, make sure it is nice and secure. I use actually the Cricut brayer to make sure we have it adhered to that vinyl. And then I flip it around and do a nice slow peel back. This works much better than doing it from the front. Once we have the backing sheet off, we can grab our surface. I'm using a Chalk Couture Odette frame. I'm gonna place this in the center of that frame, grab that Cricut brayer tool, and when I actually peel this off, I'll start in the corner and do a tight peel straight down on the board. And just look at the results. I can see where this Smart Vinyl could really come into play for kids' rooms or classrooms. I have to say I was pretty impressed by it, which leads me to what other smart materials are there. So let's take a look at Smart Ironon. I only bought a few pieces of the Smart Ironon. Now we know it's smart, so that means it will cut without a mat. I'm gonna use this Smart Holographic Ironon. Sometimes people refer to it as HTV, but Cricut likes Ironon. Now make sure you measure what your project's going to be. This stuff's expensive, so I do not want to waste it. I have this cute design that's actually gonna go on a pennant, and we do not need to use a mat. We can say it's matless cutting. Choose the holographic Smart Ironon. That's very important. And Cricut will alert you that says, hey, this should probably be mirrored. So if you have not mirrored your design, you can do that here by selecting the options and hit mirrored. Now this is gonna go shiny side down, and it's also going to check to make sure I have enough material, which is good because I cut this by hand and I want to make sure it's good to go. Just hit go and watch the Cricut Joy do the magical cutting. There is something to be said about matless cutting. When your design is finished, eject it out of the machine, and I'm going to give you a little tip here. Grab your Easy Press and your Easy Press mat. We're going to heat up our Easy Press mat for about 5 to 10 seconds. It's at 305 degrees. And then we can place our heat transfer or iron on with the shiny side down. This will activate the glue, making your weeding job so much easier. Look at that. Once you have finished weeding your project, you can figure out how to apply it. But how do you? Well, head over to Cricut Easy Heat Guide. You select the material, the surface, and it tells you temp, time, application, easy peasy. So we're gonna follow that. I'm gonna grab my pennant, put it down, warm it for about 5 seconds, put the design with the liner facing up and apply it per the Easy Press Heat Guide. Now this is a cold peel. That means once I am finished doing the project, I'm actually going to let it cool until it's cool to the touch. And look at that, I rescued my human, so cute. I love it. Now, why stop there when there's so many other smart materials like smart patterned iron-on? This stuff is amazing. This is a smart material, so you do not need a mat to cut it. Inside the package is the 3 designs, and they are protected from each other with some parchment paper in between each of those. We're gonna go into Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to create a graphic. And one great thing about Cricut Design Space is if your project is too big for the Cricut Joy, it will say, hey, this isn't compatible with your machine. I love that. Once we get to this screen, we want to make sure to mirror our design. Remember, this is iron-on, so we have to mirror it. We're going to browse materials and look for pattern iron-on. Once again, make sure you're mirrored. If you're not mirrored, you want to make sure that you mirror the image. Now, there's the Cricut Joy making sure I have enough material, which is great. That means it's smarter than me because I hate it when I run out of material. Then we just hit go and the Cricut Joy does the rest. Go ahead and eject that out of the machine, and now we will go once again over to the Cricut Easy Press Heat Guide. We are this time going to choose pattern iron-on and a wood block. Now, it does tell me that it is not recommended, so if you choose to do this, just make sure you test it before. I'm heating up the glue once again on that pattern iron-on, so that way it makes my weeding job nice and easy. And yes, we are applying this to a wood block, so we're just going to follow the application instructions that Cricut's Easy Press Guide has given us. We will start by preheating my wood for 5 seconds. I know, weird, right? And then put the pattern iron on. Now, this isn't very sticky, so I did put some heat transfer tape to secure it. And this is also a cold peel, so make sure it's nice and cool when you do the reveal. But yes, you can use iron-on wood. Look at that home decor piece. Now let's chat about my second and third favorite thing from the Cricut Joy event, the smart labels, writable paper and vinyl. The first project is going to be our smart label writable cardstock or paper. It's kind of a craft paper. This is perfect for labels, mailing envelopes. It has so many uses. We're gonna hit it and choose no mat. It's a smart material. That gives us our indication. Choose the writable cardstock, not the vinyl. And what I love about the Cricut Joy is it lets you know if you have enough material. So I thought I had enough material. I loaded it into the machine and it's like, dude, you don't got enough material, so get a new piece. In which I did, and this time the Cricut Joy said, congratulations, Ken, you have enough material. Thank you, little Cricut Joy. All right, so we can now just hit go, and we're gonna grab the fine tip pen in black. First, this is going to do all of our beautiful writing and all of the beautiful decor. We'll switch it out for the fine tip blade. Now, my blade is just sitting there right on the right-hand side of the Cricut Joy. I love that feature. Didn't know this when I even got the machine. The CEO told me of that feature, so it's very cool. Does the cutting for us, and now we are finished. Now, this is a kiss cut, meaning it just cuts down to the liner, and now you can remove it. This will be perfect for Christmas packages and mailings. Oh my gosh, so fun. So let's turn our attention to our smart vinyl label project. Now this is writable smart vinyl. It is very cool stuff, and it touts the fact that it is smear proof. So let's take a look. We're going to choose no mat because it's a smart material, and we're going to choose the writable vinyl. And now we will also make sure we have enough material. This stuff's expensive, guys, so this is a great feature on Cricut's part. They're basically saying, we get it, you spend a lot on your material, we want to make sure you have enough for this project. The project starts with the pen. Now make sure you have the right pen because not all pens will be smear proof, so use the recommended pen. This is just the fine tip black pen. And another tip for you, if you start using your pen and it is not drying, just make sure to put the pen tip face down an hour before your project. I didn't do this before my live and I regret it because it looked like it did not work. So once we are ready, it's going to cut out all of those labels and we will just see how great this stuff is. I'm gonna grab my chalk couture paste jars and we're gonna weed these labels, and they are very thin, making them perfect for a round surface. And these paste jars see a lot of water, and I have to say they didn't smear. Now that could change if you have moisture on your hands, so keep that in mind. Now I know what you are all going to say, Ken, I have all of this Cricut Infusible ink, product. Will it work with the Joy? And the answer is yes. You can either purchase infusible ink that is designed to work perfectly with the Cricut Joy mats or use your current infusible ink mats. We're actually going to be making some coasters using the pattern infusible ink. Now, infusible ink has its own sets of tips and recommendations, so I'm going to link those down below. If you've never used infusible ink, you're going to want to follow those instructions. I did purchase some infusible ink that goes perfect with the Cricut Joy because infusible ink usually is always a smaller item, and that's perfect for the Cricut Joy, especially on these coasters. So I'm going to bring my design in, make sure it's on the right size mat, and mirror it. You want to make sure you mirror your design. We're going to choose infusible ink. There is no smart infusible ink because it's not a smart material. We do need to use the mat, so just choose infusible ink. Make sure everything is mirrored and we can hit go. The Cricut Joy will, once again, as always, make sure your mat is aligned and start cutting both of these different coasters out. Now, once again, if you've never used infusible ink, please check out the videos below. There's a lot of tips on how to weed this stuff, how to apply it. This is a quick overview just to show you that it does work with the Cricut Joy. Now, as I sit here and weed these, let's check out the instructions. Head over to that Easy Press heat guide, and on infusible ink, the heat guide is everything. It tells you what you need, all of your application, and what I call the sandwich of the Easy Press. So for this, you're gonna want a heavy cardstock. I'm using these square coasters. You're going to want butcher paper. We're gonna follow those instructions to a T. I'm going to wipe down my coaster, put down a heavy piece of cardstock, coaster with the shiny side up, and transfer the infusible ink color facing down because we want it to fuse in the material. I'm gonna put a piece of butcher paper on there, and we're gonna heat these for a really long time, and they are really, really hot, but let me tell you, they're worth the wait because look at that color. Okay, I forgot how fun infusible ink can be, so let's do another one. This time I'm actually going to cut down my design because it had too much around the edges and it was not sticking to my coaster. By cutting it down, I can use the heat resistant tape to make sure it is positioned just perfectly. So we can actually cut down some pieces of tape, put it all over, and now we can grab the butcher paper, put the butcher paper on top of this, and heat it for a very long time. Remember, these are hot when they are done, so let them cool. But there is nothing better than the wow factor you get with infusible ink. The color is amazing, and you can use your current infusible ink and cut it down, or buy the Cricut Joy sized infusible ink in stores now. And I already know you're gonna ask it, will it work with your other materials in your crafty stash? And the answer is yes, it works with a ton of materials. We tested a lot. You're just gonna wanna make sure to buy the Cricut mats. These come in light grip or standard grip, and they come in 2 different sizes. So when you're designing in Cricut Design Space, keep that in mind and choose the right mat and the right size. Then you follow procedures as normal. You essentially go through the system, you browse materials, you find the one that works. I'm using Fun Stamper's Journey cardstock, which is a heavier cardstock, and in my past history, I've always had to apply more pressure to this, so I'm going to choose that just like I would for any other Cricut machine. Now, it's not going to check the material, but it will align the mat for you. In this case, I'm drawing first, so I'm gonna let the Cricut Joy write. Once it is done writing, I can switch it out for the fine tip blade and let it cut out my design. Now, we tested cardstock, vinyl, HTV, glitter cardstock, glitter HTV, and as long as you follow the recommendations in Cricut Design Space, we had success with pretty much all of them. Now, it's not gonna cut wood, it's not gonna cut thicker materials, that's not what the Joy is designed for, but I'm telling you, I was impressed with all the materials it did cut. So let's take a look. We're gonna reveal, look at that. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for watching this Cricut Joy review. We love you guys. All right, I know you guys are already going to ask, so how noisy is this machine? So let's take a listen to this. Now, I would be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that the Cricut Joy is so lightweight and so convenient, you can take it anywhere. They actually created a carrying case that fits the Joy and the power adapter perfectly. You also have room in there to put a fine tip pen or extra blades. In the back of the tote, there is a nice pocket. It's perfectly sized to store your standard cutting mats for the Joy. So this truly is a portable little machine. Well, what are our thoughts? I did promise you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think we've already debunked the ugly portion. But on a serious note, what are my final thoughts? Let me start with the bad points. When Cricut first introduced the Cricut Joy, I was actually not impressed and actually dismissed the machine after seeing it in person at the Cricut launch event. Yes, it had some cool tricks up its sleeves, but the price of $179, well, honestly, I just did not see the need and felt like it was a little bit of a price grab on Cricut's part. Not only would the user need to invest in the machine, but new and current Cricut users would have to invest in all new mats, blades, pens, and the smart material if you want to cut without a mat. And let's be honest, as a new user, you want access to all the cool features of the machines. If you just bought the machine, you would not get the cool features like the card mat or smart materials, pens and replacement blades. And to be honest, these add up quickly. For this review alone, I spent close to $1,000 buying items just for the review, and actually I mostly bought their sampler materials. In our cut test, we saw how limited the machine could be. You are not able to cut edge to edge with your material and has limit to how wide you're able to cut for. For example, even though smart material is 5.5 inches wide, some of our designs were limited to a much smaller width. As a current Cricut Design Space user, I found the Joy easy to use. However, I could see a small learning curve for new users navigating Cricut Design Space for the first time. And let's be honest, it appears that the target demographic for this machine is the general public who have not yet heard or used a Cricut cutting machine. And with a retail cost of $179, users are able to spend just $50 more and buy the Cricut Explore Air 2, which gives the user more features and benefits than the Cricut Joy does. Hence why I went into this review with low expectations and high expectations of giving it a bad review. Now, I'm a big enough man to admit when I'm wrong, and in this case, I'm wrong. After playing with the Cricut Joy for a little over a month, I fell in love with this machine, which leads me to the good. I am not a user that has my machines hooked up all the time, day in and day out. They're actually stored away with their cords. So when I do want to make a quick card or vinyl project, I find myself losing motivation. Since these machines offer more features, they are also heavier, and it's recommended to calibrate them upon moving the machines. Essentially, the other machines are bigger, and so are all the accessories, the mats, the pens, everything. Yes, this machine is portable, lightweight, and convenient. And this is where the Cricut Joy shines. It may not offer all of the features its older sibling has, but it nails the features that are exclusive to the Cricut Joy. Features like the small footprint that allows the machine to follow you from room to room. Features like the card mat that allows you to utilize the insert cards to make a birthday card in less than 2 minutes. And yes, we timed it. Features like the matless cutting, utilizing smart materials, plus the introduction of new and existing materials perfectly sized for the Cricut Joy. New materials like adhesive cardstock and smart writable labels that do not smear. This machine has actually made me excited to start making cards again. It is true, let's be honest, we all know that I went into this review with low expectations. And I have to admit, I was wrong. It has quickly become my go-to machine. That's right, I am turning to my Cricut Joy actually over my Cricut Maker. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review on the Cricut Joy. If you did, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for future content that we upload. I've listed all of the supplies used in the video down below, and make sure to look for our exclusive coupon code. When you use these links with our coupon codes, it helps support Ken's Kreations, and for that, we thank you. If you've recently bought the Cricut Joy, leave us a comment on your thoughts on the machine. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys go out there and create something magical. Bye everyone.